Oh boy. So, where the hell have I been? Well, I'll tell you. This is what the hell's happened to me. I have suffered second-degree burns to both my legs and feet. I don't know if you can see it on my leg there. There's some of it, and I can't stand up. That's my good leg that I showed you. That's the good leg. So this leg, I got burn on my thigh, my calf, my knee, my foot, my toes, but only very partially on my foot. You see, this is on the layout. I need to not lean on the layout so much. So my right foot is only, say that's my foot, right? It's probably only that much of my foot is burnt, and then the top of my toes. The top of my toes are pretty much healed, which is great. When I got my bandages changed a few days ago, that explains the giant tights gym socks that I've got. um, so that happened. Yeah, went to get my bandages changed. I've healed very well. This happened on, oh bloody hell, what's the date? I'm gonna need to get my phone. So it is the 30th as of right now. This happened on the 18th. So it's not even officially been 2 weeks. It's more or less been 2 weeks, but it's a couple of days under. So it's been 1, 2, 3. See, it happened late. So how did this even happen? So let me tell you that. I was taking a hot water bottle up to my partner, and then as so I did not know you're meant to only fill the hot water bottle halfway and then push all the air out. I didn't know that. For years now, I've been filling it to the brim. So, lesson learned, hot water bottles are officially banned in this house. So, as I literally got into the bedroom, the cork, the screw, popped off, just exploded, and water went all over me. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, and I've been in a lot of pain several times. But yeah, second-degree burns to my legs while I was clothed was horrendous. But since it happened while I had my clothes on, as I pulled my clothes off, it just ripped the skin straight off. So that was pleasant. So I spent about 22 hours in hospital. They wrapped me up. 5 days in, I changed the bandages myself because they failed to send someone out to me or failed to even get in contact with me about the bandage change. So I ended up changing them myself. That just made things worse because I didn't have much in terms of medical resources. I had bandages that I got my brother to go out and get. And to actually cover the wound itself, I used oh god, what was it? I used baby wipes to cover it, and that was a really bad idea because when I did use the baby wipes, part of it actually got stuck to the wound, like it healed into my foot. So when I went and got these bandages professionally changed at the doctor's surgery, they quite literally had to rip the baby wipe off my foot, which was excruciating. And what made it even worse was obviously when the burns happened, skins come off, right? The hair didn't. I have hobbit feet. I have hairy feet. So not only did it stick to the wound, it stuck to the hairs. So she's slowly there just peeling it off. She couldn't go fast because otherwise that would possibly do more nerve damage. So she's slowly taking it off. And I am not kidding you. I am biting this pillow and I am on the verge of tears. Wishing you a speedy recovery. Thank you, mate. I know it sounds awful. It was, not only was it awful, I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. That's how bad it was. So So we got the bandages changed. I felt a lot better for it. One thing I'm proud of was they didn't put any pain meds in me. They didn't give me any gas and air. So I was really happy about that. Craig from Iron Horse Railways who just commented, I've got your Mark II just off screen here. It's the first time I've got it out of the box, and I must say, it looks amazing out of the box. It looks fantastic. You've really earned your keep. Yeah, that was not a pleasant experience. Dressing is healing into the skin. Not only does it suck coming off, but any small movement you make is just horrendous amounts of pain. It is horrendous amounts of pain. I didn't sleep for, oh God, 58 hours because I was in that much pain. It was just constant throbbing. It's like sometimes when you have socks on that are too tight or a shoe on too tight, it feels like something's just like got a very tight grip around your foot there, just around the bottom and around the top. Or sometimes towards the top where your ankle is, it'll start just throbbing like brr, 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 brr. You'll feel it. You'll feel your own pulse surging through your foot. And it is horrendous. It is absolutely horrible. Now, I fought very well for my standards. I always had the mentality of I'm not going to give up, I'm not going to tap out. But this was beyond anything. This was beyond pain. This was beyond torture methods. Had it with Gravel Rush before now. Mrs. used the works or something. Oh, yeah. Gravel Rush, I imagine that was from a bicycle accident, but oh God, I've had that before. It sucks. And it's even worse when you get stones like stuck in there and you have to go in with tweezers and you don't know whether they're going to get the stone itself and it's just going to come out nicely, just you're not going to feel anything, or you don't know if it's going to fight and take your skin with you. Like, if I'm going, I'm taking you with me. It was really, really unpleasant. Motorcycle accident, yeah. Yeah, I thought so. Uh, I've had one where I was skateboarding down a hill really fast. I got speed wobbles and I just ate the concrete and massive mark up my arm. My dad had a similar one, except on his arm up here. He was going around Avon Park on his bike, and this was when it was freshly gravelled over all the paths, so a lot of the stones were still loose. He cycled that way for about 30 years, never come off his bike once. And just because these stones were so new and so loose, and his tires like those really thin road tires, he just shifted too much of his weight. Oh God, yeah. Gravel Rush sucks full stop. Yes, it does. There's nothing good about it. But yeah, he was just riding and he turned a bit too much. He was going a bit too fast. And his bike just went from under him. And he came home just, yeah, right. And then he held his arm up and it was just all yellow. Just yellow. There was no red, no blood. There was yellow and bits of grey where the stones were. So he was rushed off to hospital. Me and my brother just looking at him like, what the fuck happened to you? Obviously, my mother reprimanded us for swearing, but I think swearing was allowed for that one thing. But he's never been in an accident since. So, yeah, like I said, I've got another bandage change on Tuesday, and hopefully, we'll have a much more accurate time for when I'm back at my feet and back in work. And being off my feet was really unpleasant, not because I'm not able to get around, but mostly because I'm stuck in bed with my missus all day, every day. I don't know about any of you, but if you've been in bed with your missus all day, every day, for several days, you start to hate them. There are certain things you just hate about them. But I've gone from 2 crutches now down to 1. I can hop around on 1 foot. So that's good. It definitely means progress. Definitely means that my right foot is healing very, very well, because there were times when I've literally had to shuffle around on my feet and on my ass with my feet in the air I say on my hands and on my ass with my feet in the air. There we go. Just because my feet were that sensitive to pain. And obviously the nerve endings at the top of the foot have been exposed when the skin's come off. So now that those layers of skin are rebuilding, the foot's actually getting a lot stronger. So it's a very slow process. Now, I remember the last time I was talking about what I did at Keithley, and then I got interrupted because our social worker came. I've got a new model that is currently being in the works of being repainted. I have some wagons that are going to be weathered. I've had a coach off eBay that has been weathered by Iron Horse Railways. And I've also got a new loco, which is the same loco of one I've recently gotten rid of, but it's in a different paint scheme. So look back through the channel, see which one's missing, and see if you know what it's going to be. All I'm going to say is it's in BR green, but this particular one was at Ribble Steam Railway. It's currently under overhaul, and it was never in green. Those are your hints, right? I'm trying to think. Okay, so these are the hints. It was LMS built. It was at Ribble Steam Railway. It's under overhaul. The one I've got is in green, but it never ran in green. In the comments, tell me what you think it is. And if you get it right, I don't know, I'll think of some sort of prize for, I don't know. I like making little games out of these. You know, I've got to keep you interested. I've got to keep you wondering. I've got to keep you waiting and wondering, you know, what is the model that's been done? I will say I've had to do some work to it today. I gave it a little test run. Works fine now, but it was damaged. The pickups were absolutely buggered, so I've sorted that out. I didn't break the pickups this time like I did on Daphne. So it works now. Might need a whole new chassis. I do plan on getting it DCC sound fitted, but that will be much later down the line. And also, it ran with the Merseyside Express. That's another hint. And speaking of the Merseyside Express, so I've been trying to get the Merseyside Express headboard for a specific reason. I'm not going to say which reason because it'll give away what loco it is. Twice now, I've been bamboozled from buying it off eBay. The first time I got it was back at the flat, so probably over a year now. The listing said in double O gauge. No, it was in N gauge. And then recently I bought it again back in March, but I've only just opened it today. So it's been over a month since I've got it. I've just not opened it when I should have, because the headboard was in O gauge. It was advertised double O gauge Merseyside Express headboard. Nah, the size of this thing is not double O gauge. It is bigger than the smoke box. Now, I did dig out some old headboards myself just to side compare. This Merseyside was like 3 times the size of the Irish Mail headboard I've got, and that thing is pretty big. So I've not messaged the seller to complain. I'm just going to resell it myself and somehow get my money back. Now, in terms of models and the layouts and everything that's going on, the bridge for the layout is going to go to Iron Horse Railways, and he's going to do some work on it for me. He's absolutely great at weathering, and that's something I could really use with right now, with the idea of the layout being very out of date, very used, very not looked after. So a dirty steel girder bridge is exactly what I need, as well as rolling stock, as well as some locos. So Iron Horse Railways is going to be a big part of bringing the rolling stock and some of the buildings here to life. Now, the last update I said the field would be finished by the next layout update. Obviously, with how I am, I can't exactly do a lot, but I have just spent a lot of money on over 33 individual items, you could say, to more or less finish the layout. Figures, scenic items, all that. I'll do my best, no pressure. No pressure at all, mate. But no, with all the scenic items that I've got, it should ideally finish the layout with how I want it to be. Exhibition standard, I guess you could say. I've got a lot coming, so when it all arrives and when it's all here, I'm going to unbox it live on stream, bit by bit, show you what I've got, what the plan is to do with it. And then when the next layout update rolls about, you'll see the difference. You'll see something that's not really got a lot to it to something that looks pretty much nearly completely finished. The only other thing I have to do to this layout, other than add the things I've bought when they arrive, is weather the track. Now, I currently have a little diorama that I'm working on. I'll show you. That is to help me practice weathering track. There we go. So it's an old iPhone case. And what I've done is I've stuck some track down, spacer sleepers, some concrete trunking, and a little thing there. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But the plan is with this to ballast it and then figure out how I'd go about weathering this. I might do this a few more times on small pieces, and then only once I'm confident is when I'm going to weather this track, because it's way too clean for a branch line that's coming towards being ripped up. Because the era I'm modeling is 1994 to 2004. So from the very end, well, the last few years of British Rail into Railtrack, and then I think it laps over into the start of Network Rail in 2004. I'm not sure. I'll have to do some more research. But the idea is when Network Rail come about, they see this line as absolutely pointless and they just rip it up. So that's why the line is looking very disused. So that's the plan with that. Now, I've been thinking what I'm going to do with this after, I've done it, when I've built it, when I'm finished with it, and when I move on to my next layout, because I have possibly 2 more layouts I'm going to build after this. The next one is going to be how I learn putting individual module pieces together to form one huge layout. And what I'm planning to build is the embankment of Ribblestein Railway coming from the swing bridge all the way to the foot crossing to where the railway then disappears towards the exchange sidings. That long straight piece is almost perfect because some of the modules can be shaped exactly the same, and sometimes no matter where you put them on the layout, they will still fit together perfectly. So that's the idea for the next one, to learn about, building an exhibition layout that has individual baseboards that need putting together. And then once I've done that, then and only then will I move on to what is going to be Silson Steam Railway 2.0. Because when I got back into building layout, I built Silson Steam Railway, and then unfortunately it got vandalized, it got moved, bits went missing, so I got really depressed and I sold it. Plus, we needed the money at the time, and I wasn't really doing anything. I'd learned the skills I needed to learn. Silson Steam Railway 2.0 is going to be what that layout could have been if I had the knowledge now back then. The knowledge that I have now back then would have made that layout absolutely astronomically one of a kind. Now, I am going to take ideas from many layouts, many railways, many places around the world. I have been brainstorming this, and a challenge I've come to face with the baseboards that I've currently got that are at my parents' place is there is a huge hole that I don't know what to do with. I could just make it a dip in the scenery whenever the trains go around it. I could turn it into a lake. I could just completely level it out and there'll just be this extra empty space under the layout for the rest of its existence. But that's what all of this is going to teach me. And speaking of extra baseboards, I do at some point plan on extending the fiddle yards on this. It's not going to be for a long time. For now, it more than likely is just going to be 1-2-1s, 1-2-2s, so like single car DMUs, 153s, maybe a 37, and maybe 1 or 2 tankers, if that'll even fit. I thought I was going to get a lot more space than what I currently do, but at the moment, for the space I've got, I'm very limited to what I can run. So the idea is it's a very small branch line that gets very small freight trains. It's like a 37 and 1. I believe they're TTA wagons. Yeah, a 37 and TTA wagons like carrying fuel to a depot or something, or carrying a wagon that needs repairs. And honestly, I am really looking forward to it. So I've probably taken up about 20 minutes of your time. Thought there was something on the coach then. There's not. I'm going to go now. I'm going to go try and rest my foot. And for now, guys, that's what's going on. There is a lot of progress that's going to happen to the layout. Videos are going to come. For some reason, YouTube banned me for uploading videos for 2-3 weeks. Possibly because I added some WWE music to the first part of My Adventure to Keithley. Feel a bit like Shazzy. And you, Craig, honestly, I love the Mark II. I can't wait to see, what you do with some of the other stuff I've got planned for you. So yeah, as always, everyone, I love you all. Thank you so much for being patient. The rest of the parts of My Adventure at Keithley will come soon. As soon as I finish editing them. Well, they're edited, they just need uploading and scheduling. So once they're done, you will see them. As always, guys, I love you all so much, and I will see you soon.